All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Hibike Euphonium, Season 2, Episode 4. Okay.
So many things are being concealed.
Yes,
from
we
people.
have all the drama. And we've got Kumiko in the middle of this, trying to figure out how it all can be resolved or how she can play a part in this to resolve things.
So far, it has involved her confronting people, hearing secrets, and hiding against walls in the dark. Very
that she thinks is
successfully.
That she thinks is in the dark. But little did she know that this is a gorgeous anime where everything has to be well lit, so she's very easily spotted. Yes, indeed.
But we also got one particular bit of info. Well, okay,
a couple.
No, we got several bits of info. Yoroizuka is the reason that Nozomi can't rejoin the club. Yeah,
we saw her being nearly sick at the hearing of her playing the music, but also it's confirmed by Asuka.
That's why she's doing it.
That's why,
Yep. And then we also have that little bit of apparently Taki was married, but his wife's dead. Kumiko's like, how do I break this to Reina? Do I? Or do I just keep this my little secret?
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's its thing there.
It's a head scratcher.
But other than that, Asuka does seem to be a bit forlorn, a bit
melancholic maybe.
Yeah, there seems to be a bit of an issue that's not being addressed with this here. She went to go off in the morning to play by herself outside,
and it was very
sad.
Yeah. And it spoke of something going on the inside.
Yeah, and possibly, an opportunity for Kumiko to go in and ask what's going on.
Maybe.
See if there's anything that she wants to talk about beyond this.
Right.
So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. God, I missed the first OP.
I know, I don't want to keep saying it, but like...
I keep saying it because it's true, though.
It's such a good OP. Like, I was still expecting it to start playing.
It's weird. I can't not hear it every time I think about this show.
It left a strong impression.
I need this second season to be like 3 cour. Like, so it can just completely...
Give you proper time.
Completely eviscerate the memory.
No, see, what we need season 3, and then this one can just be the palate cleanser for OP3.
Oh my god. Imagine if KyoAni's like, okay, guys, Kobayashi's Dragon Maid season 2. There it is, 1 cour. But we're starting Hibike Euphonium Season 3. It's going to take us a long time, because we want to give you guys, like, what made us, like,
best of the best,
Like, I'm trying to think, are there any shows that are remotely, like, I know, what's the one that's super popular? No, the super popular
Demon Slayer
show.
Oh, KyoAni,
What is
K-On?
it? K-On. Yeah,
and that was made, like, almost 15 years ago.
Right.
Or 12, 13 years ago.
Right, but other than maybe Violet Evergarden, is there anything that has like this level of just like
not that
effort put into it?
Like, there might be, but
no, we can ask Discord about that.
Whoa!
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay. Yeah.
Is that kind of like a seeding thing?
Okay, so there's no correlation between strength and placing. You're doubting your own skills. Come on, yeah. Who cares?
Kick reason to the curb. Because we are one of the strong schools as well.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh.
For what?
Yeah.
How do I take this exactly?
Oh. I'm not eavesdropping. Yeah.
I'll do my best.
Kumiko, I swear she bumped her head against the window and then went, like, into... I'm like, you did that to yourself. What are you doing?
Oh.
You had a fight? Oh, her dad had a fight.
All right.
Oh. Is that what emotion is? Oh, jeez.
Oh, no.
That hurts.
What are the technical ways I can make it seem like I'm playing this with emotion? Oh, she's so much better than she was in the first season.
Uh-huh. You can feel less stuttering in between the transitions. Mm-hmm. So her breath control is, like, really good.
Oh, no.
But, oh, not anymore.
Yep, not since you left. Now, I don't think... yeah. Now, hearing her
Koga's
play
not
was
there
one
with
thing,
her.
but what will she do in a face-to-face confrontation? Oh, wow.
So she changed her mind.
Yeah, because of them.
Oh.
Okay, that's
Okay.
probably a good idea. Oh, no. But she still wants to see her.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of seeing her.
Yeah.
Completely separate from the club.
Oh, no.
First name and everything. Oh my god.
Koga's in battle mode.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yep.
Wait, Yuko, not Koga.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, let's have it out. Why have I been calling Yuko Koga? Is that from a different show?
I think so.
Yeah, that's from Bunny Girl. What am I doing?
Right, right. The competition is so close. Oh boy.
Well, she's not going to answer if you call, so...
That's what makes it harder, because they have to search, like, everywhere.
Oh.
Whoa. Oh, man.
Yeah, she blames herself because of the previous... It's 2 years ago. Oh. Okay. Okay.
Whoa.
Whoa. Whoa.
Not even Yuko.
Yeah. Oh.
Yep.
The extrovert claims the introvert.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And she probably got her to join the wind ensemble. Yeah.
The way that she said that Nozomi became friends with her.
Right.
She was the one who made it happen. Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, shoot.
Just one day you found out.
Oh, man. Oh, honey. Wow. Yeah, 'cause she was her whole reason for showing up. Wow. The one with no friends decided to play the instrument that no one else would play.
And to think that she played with such passion before.
Yeah. Is she though?
Yeah, how can you say that?
I'm
Look
right
in front
here.
of you, yeah.
That looking away.
Oh.
Baka!
Yeah. Yeah! Oh! Oh! Kumiko's just like, hey, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
that's right.
All right.
I remember that. Yeah. Oh.
Oh, it's like she's crying for her.
Uh-huh. This is emotion. There it is. There it is. Oh, this is perfect. Yeah, I'll help pull you back up. Come on.
Come into the light.
Yeah.
The world doesn't have to be dark and gloomy.
Right. Oh, here come the tears. Yep.
Let it out.
Yeah. And Kumiko's like, oh, should I even be here?
Right. This feels very intimate.
Yeah.
Oh. And she had the instrument.
Wow. Oh. She heard everything.
And instantly, Yoroizuka stops shaking. She stops crying.
Well, she's scared, too.
Yeah. Uh-huh. The way she's just peeking up over the top of it.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
これ持ってけって
Asuka told you. Yeah.
なんか気に障ることしちゃった
Way to go, Asuka.
Why didn't you tell
私
me?
バカだからさどうして話してくれなかった部活やめた時だってみそれ頑張ってたじゃん
You were so happy, too.
All
She didn't
right.
want to bring you down.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
Your music was so beautiful. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Awesome.
that's the perfect.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
もしかして仲間外れに
Yeah.
思ってた
Uh-huh.
なんで違う
Oh.
違うそんなつもりじゃ私ずっと避けてた
Ever since then, yeah.
思い込んで怖くてごめんなさい
Oh, just hold her.
私ね
Yeah.
大会見
You
に行って
played beautifully.
You played wonderfully.
キラキラしてた
Yeah.
鳥肌だった
She was there. That's right.
そ
Yeah.
のソロ本当に決まってる
The hesitation
Yeah.
in her voice. All right.
さどうしてさ
Oh.
聞きたいなそれの大声
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Not showing her eyes. Yep.
Hi. Oh.
私も聞いてほしい
Okay.
すごい綺麗な
Yep.
Oh, yeah, it does.
結局みそれの演奏はのぞみってあんたの100倍いい子だ
See, these two just need to get
Right.
together.
Yeah.
もしかして
Being nice to me all of a sudden.
くれてるはいてるのいてる何それ
Okay. Wow. Okay.
のぞみちゃんに固執してるのって結局一人が怖いからでしょゆうこちゃんは保険だね
Damn.
Yeah.
アスカ先輩は
Yeah, Kumiko, yeah.
遅いじゃあ帰ろっかはい全国行こうね
Mm.
何が
Cool.
本音で何が建前なのか
No, she means it here.
その境目はあまりにも曖昧でどんなに汚れるの
I love Kumiko's little
Just noises.
Oh.
Is she gonna tell her about?
他のために吹いてる
Oh, okay.
Yes, great question.
考えたことない
I think she plays for herself. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Of course she does.
Yeah.
Of course she does.
Ah!
だってマジレーナーだよ
We didn't get to see her
Kumiko.
back hug her. Oh.
That's a funny way to say Kumiko, and that's why I love you.
Right. Oh. Cool.
All right.
Oboe
that
and the
was
flute
good.
next to each other. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So now I am
Fantastic.
Now I'm pretty sure that the movie Liz and the Bluebird is about those two. I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
When are we watching that?
After season 2.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
That simple question, though, of why do you do what you do, right? Like,
Or who do you do something for?
sure, it's so simple, and yet it's so important, right?
Right.
Like, it's simple enough to be a cliche, and not just a small cliche, but like a big cliche. But there's a reason for it being a cliche like that.
Yep. And there's a lot of instances where people do know that they're doing something for someone, but the other person doesn't know that they're doing it for them.
Sure. Yeah.
And if they never communicate that, like, yeah. God, what a tearjerker, y'all.
I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't shed a single one. There was nothing of that sort that happened.
I'm leaking.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Like,
okay. So we got a massive just Nozomi and Yoroizuka just focused reconnection of sorts.
Yep.
And it was special. It was beautiful. We had a lot of little things in the episode surrounding it, so we can kind of lightly go over those.
Sure.
There's a bit of a drama issue going on with Kumiko's big sister and her parents, specifically probably her dad.
Yep.
So that's going to be gotten into at some point later. We had the little bit with the older
teacher.
assistant who came in.
The victorious beetle, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Or yeah.
Yeah, who comes to Yoroizuka and apologizes for kind of limiting her perspective of her, but basically saying that, hey, you have so much more potential to go beyond this.
Right.
So I'm encouraging you to do that. And then we see also that, while, Nozomi is going to give it, one last shot, she somehow ends up avoiding certain people and groups till she ends up, in some ways, luckily, bumping into Yoroizuka because she heard her playing.
Right. By her thinking, oh, okay, I'll stop trying to get back into the club. Ironically enough, that's what brings about the thing that might get her back into the club.
Yep.
Because now that we've had this resolution, there's no reason she can't join, as long as she can play the piece. Right, from Asuka's perspective. And if we're assuming that she has also been like practicing the piece as if she were going to be in the club, like she finds out what piece they're playing from, Nakagawa or something like that.
I mean,
and then,
she doesn't need to play in order to be in the club.
That's true. And she did say, that is an excellent point.
She can just be there and be helpful. And in a lot of ways, she'll probably end up helping Yoroizuka.
Sure. Yeah, she could give her feedback and tips and stuff on how she plays the oboe.
Yeah. Or just encouraging her.
Right.
Just so that the solo ends up being even better now.
I loved that bit where Yoroizuka is like, is that how I play with more with emotion to make it more airy? Like that. She's trying to address this situation that people are recognizing, but they don't necessarily see what the full problem is. And because she's not in tune with her own emotions very much, she's not realizing it either.
Yeah.
Right? And then, happenstance, something occurs that dredges it up, makes it so that she can't run from it anymore. And
we get this beautiful sequence of events here. So the sequence, and I want to call it that because it's not really a scene as much as it is a sequence of bam, 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 bam.
Right.
Really quick little cuts, shots of all the characters who are involved, or at the very least nearby when this happens, and then what they do in response to this. So Yuko is the gung-ho, go at it, type A, straight to the problem.
Protective.
And a bit, a bit hands-on.
Overly assertive sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. So she, of course, recruits Kumiko and she's like, let's go find her. But you notice a lot of the characters surrounding this, like Asuka, have their little moment of like, oh, shit, this happened. And Asuka is one of the first ones to actually comment on it immediately after it happens. And she...
oh boy.
well, she goes, damn it. Like, she has a little moment where she's like, okay, I messed up, or
this wasn't supposed to happen.
This wasn't supposed to happen,
Yeah.
A lot of the other students notice this as well. But I love that Nozomi has this moment of just like, wait, I'm genuinely confused. Wait, what's wrong here?
Did I do something wrong? Yeah.
Yeah, and then Yuko with her, and that's the problem.
Right, you didn't do anything, right? And I love one of the, okay, the characters in this show are absolutely wonderful. right? I love the interactions that they have and stuff. They're excellent. They're excellent. They're so good. One of my favorite characters in this show is Nakagawa.
I love
right?
Nakagawa.
She is awesome. Yeah. Like every time she's on screen, I feel like she just adds so much to the scene, but then also is so helpful as far as like, you know, and in her own as best she can, right?
Sure.
I just want to cheer for her.
Right.
So even in the case of with Yuko, one of the people who she butted heads with so much, right, in the first season, now it's the sort of like, I don't know, it feels like not a rivalry, but sort of like a thing of like frenemy sort of situation where it's the like we've buried the hatchet, you know, like
no, they don't like each other, really.
Right.
But it's just the idea that they both care so much about other people. In their mutual care for others, they can find a little bit of a respect in that.
Yeah,
I get it.
That's a good way of putting it.
You're on that person's side. I'm on this person's side.
Right.
We're not against each other.
We are both protectors.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah.
So here we go. We end up being, you know, guard dogs for different people, and we have little stare downs and sorts.
Yeah, we have stare downs, but that also means we can be like, you know, share a language, you know.
Right. And also, you know, Nakagawa's not going to try and stop her because Nakagawa doesn't know what's going on.
Nope.
I love that, you know, Yuko, because of Kumiko being, you know, the one that's been spying and going around all these instances, Yuko's smart and it's like, okay, so you know what's going on.
Right. Even if you don't know the details, you know that this is serious, right?
So I'm going to give you enough limited info that you'll be willing to help me.
Yep.
And they go and start looking for her. Yeah. But just the speed at which they kind of rapidly went through a bunch of the recollections of Kumiko regarding everything that happened that brought them to this, and also what she's observed through Nozomi. She ends up realizing where she would be, maybe a bit of luck involved, but we get the reveal that she blames herself in the same way that she feels pain because of Nozomi not telling her anything. But she ultimately blames herself for not being willing to face reality.
And before we go into talking about the actual like conversation they have with Yoroizuka behind the teacher's desk, because I love that scene. I love it so much.
Yeah.
I want to talk a bit about the actual searching for her and the finding of her.
Okay.
One, the animation and how they sort of like the camera pans around and stuff when we get to see that she's behind the desk. I love that. I think it was beautifully handled.
Okay.
The visuals of it just blew me away, right? But there's also something that specifically for me, and let me know what you think about this if you have any kind of similar like feelings, experiences with this matter. But the idea of a search. And whether it's, I'm not entirely sure where it comes from, whether it's from a mix of personal experiences or just other stories that I've seen that also feature searches specifically for people who either cannot hear you or will not respond, right? And you know they're in a place where you need to be able to reach them, but they will not actually
help you find them.
Right? You can be holding out your hand, but they won't take it, right? That having scenes where characters are then searching for someone, I feel like that can help encapsulate or represent the fear that the people searching can have on behalf of this person they're looking for, because just because she's not going to respond to them or anything, it was ridiculously difficult for them to find her, right?
Yeah.
And this situation, this thing that she's going through right now, she would not have actually been able to move past it without help.
Right.
Right?
She doesn't want to be found, though.
She doesn't want to be found, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But she does kind of need to be found. And I feel like maybe it's because the lie that she was telling herself was that she was alone, even though Yuko was, like there for her and things like that. That's probably why I like it affected me so strongly, because because it's the desperately holding on to a lie, right? Yoroizuka doesn't want to be found because that would imply that people actually care about her enough to search, right?
And she would have to acknowledge their value for her.
Right. And quite frankly, maybe she wants to be found, but it's more that she wants there to be people that will want to find her, right?
Yeah.
And
I think that the honesty in that she's not wanting to face reality, though, is probably the most true thing we got out of her there.
Yeah.
Is that because that's such a negative statement about herself in a way that doesn't bring about pity necessarily, because it's a denial of even those that are right in front of her. Like it's something that could be hurtful to them specifically.
And it was to Yuko.
It was very much to Yuko.
I love that she confronted her about it. Baka.
Right. But that's the kind of thing where I would be almost a little bit in Asuka's camp, that she might have been even a little bit subconsciously using Yuko in that way.
Sure,
and
I
thus
believe
she
it,
doesn't want Yuko to find her, because then she would have to receive probably the pain of Yuko either realizing that was what was going on, or her then abandoning her in the same way that
the facing
she feels
reality,
like Nozomi did to her.
Which is crazy, because the fact that Nozomi didn't actually do it for those reasons,
right?
But because that Yoroizuka believed it, she started to do the same thing, the thing that didn't even really happen, right, to someone else. That's scary.
Yep.
That's scary, because like when we start to believe things, when we let ourselves remove ourselves from other people, right, and other perspectives and things like that, and then we convince ourselves that what we believe to be true is the way it is, and that there's no possible other perspective,
right,
then all sorts of things can happen as a result of that, right, that we would not wish on anyone. But because we believe it's been done to us, then all of a sudden it becomes acceptable. Needed even. People
do all kinds of things to themselves that they would never do to others. But
if you do it to yourself, that will overflow.
Yeah. So they find her, and Nozomi tells her backstory with... Yoroizuka tells her backstory with Nozomi.
Yeah.
And it's heart-wrenching, because you can see that she was the person who very much was quiet. Very shy, very much unable to make friends. A lot of the things that she experienced, I'm sure many people have been on the giving or receiving end of in life. It's a very realistic situation to find happen in real life, is where someone who is a little bit of a social outsider, doesn't understand a lot of the dynamics of making friends, gets basically picked up by one of the bubbly extroverts who's like, hey, whoa, I don't want anyone to be out alone like this. I'm going to do what comes out of the overflow of my heart just because I care about people. And because Nozomi not only responded so positively to this, but also then picked up the thing that she was passionate about, to the point where she's like, wow, I don't even need to be there. She does all this with so much passion and excitement and beauty, and
I just want to make sure I stay out of her way.
I just want to make sure that I don't bring that down. What she has right now is hers. This is no longer something that I need to make sure I steward. I just need to make sure that I'm never going to put a damper on her flame. But the way in which she accidentally communicates that to Nozomi, she's just another friend. God, that's so realistic. I've been in the giving and receiving end of both of these dynamics before.
And it hurts.
And it hurts both ways, because when you end up realizing that you communicated to someone that they were just another friend of yours, you immediately look back and you realize that there were multiple ways and times that you could have clarified the communication to avoid any pain, at the very least, in the unintentional side of things. But there's also this realization that you can't control how they respond to you.
And maybe you've been doing things that were hurting them without realizing it, you know.
Oh, totally. But you can't control those. I'm talking about the things that you can control.
Right.
So that's I never thought about it that way.
Oh, okay.
What was always kind of the point was that there were ways in which I ended up basically communicating the wrong thing, and I could have made it easier for them to interpret it correctly if I had done things differently. But the times where you end up, seeing them kind of make extrapolations based off of the misinterpretations. You can't control that.
Nope.
That's
you can maybe try and clarify the misinterpretation.
No, but if they don't communicate that there's there's
right.
any interpretation,
exactly.
you don't know. So you can't blame Nozomi for you don't blame anyone for any of this. This is just a very natural conclusion.
It's an unfortunate set of circumstances and events that transpired.
Right, but the miscommunication aspect is something that was based on interpretations after the miscommunication, in addition to the original miscommunication. Meaning that the main problem here that led to a lot of the pain was that after she misunderstood why Nozomi left, she then extrapolated on the interpretation to be that, well, she doesn't care about me.
Right, that's why she didn't tell me.
Right, right. And
then because she didn't talk about, any of this really with most anybody.
Right.
This
never went back to Nozomi.
This never went back to Nozomi.
Yeah.
And Yoroizuka had to bear this weight.
Yeah.
For how long? A year?
A year.
That's a long time for something like this.
That's a very long time.
You only get high school in Japan is only 3 years, so that's a third of this time, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you're young, you don't think about how much time you have for certain things, right? Like that's not as much of a priority because you sort of assume that things will just sort of go on forever, right? Because it seems to, I'm never gonna get to this age or whatever or all that stuff, right? But you can change you can change your environment, you can change your world, but no one else is really going to do it for you.
Yeah.
And
yeah. And then if you're on the receiving end of this, if you've ever been in Yoroizuka's situation where you've been the person that was basically picked up by someone and then it seems like they drop you all of a sudden, it's really painful because one of the things that can end up seeding into the feelings of it was that there was a role of they made me their friend, but I never became their friend. So then
I don't have that power.
Right. Well, they don't see themselves really even as a full person in the dynamic, which says a lot more, I would say, about
her own
maturity, self-esteem, all that kind of stuff.
That's probably why she didn't consider herself to be friends with Yuko. Because
she wasn't giving enough or something.
She wasn't giving enough or she didn't think that she had the ability to actually do that. Okay, we talk a lot and stuff, but really you're just doing this because you pity me, right? It's not because I'm actually someone who you would want to be friends with. Yeah.
This is something that is this is something that I very much appreciate that Yuko responded in this way, because there are too many instances I've seen in real life more so than in fiction, because in fiction we kind of idealize the situation so that we can move the plot along and stuff.
Sure.
But oftentimes things just end in non-communication.
Right, exactly. That you don't have dramatic climaxes and things like that.
It's much more boring and much more painful in a lot of ways because not as much is actually communicated.
Right.
People don't care enough sometimes in order to actually make themselves look almost a bit silly in how dramatic and to the point they'll be with their communication.
Right. In real life, there's a very good chance that this whole interaction that we got this episode wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
This would have just continued through season 2 and beyond.
Yeah.
Right? And that just would have been the story.
Yeah.
Yoroizuka is forever that lonely girl that shows up really early to practice for some reason, and there's no emotion when she plays.
Yeah, and Yuko is the person that comes by and pities her, maybe, from the perspective of Yoroizuka, but is in her limited capacity, just trying to be there for her, but doesn't know anything of what to do. And maybe is also so sensitive enough to her that she doesn't confront her on the parts where she's being immature.
Right. Yep. And then eventually high school ends and these people go their separate ways. And Yuko's like, oh, damn, I wish I could have
I wish I could have done more.
I wish I could have done more.
But I don't know what that would have been.
And then Yoroizuka just, unblissfully ignorant, continues with the rest of her life.
Yeah. So this is something that I feel like might even be a hot take here.
Oh, yeah?
But Yuko needed to call her out on this.
Absolutely.
Once she said this, because this is something that a lot of people I could see as her being like, you need to think about her feelings. But when she says Nozomi is, and then pauses, the only one I have, I think that Yoroizuka is being a little bit like what
Asuka said.
What Asuka was saying is that she's trying to draw a response a little bit
from
Yuko here. Mm-hmm. And it's basically saying...
It's you just crossed my mind when I was saying that in that pause, but I'm still saying that Nozomi is the only one I have.
Right, because I think the thing here is that she's actually saying this as a question, but in her words, it's a statement, because if she says it as a question, it makes her vulnerable.
Gotcha.
She says, is Nozomi the only one I have, is what she's actually saying here.
Right, is there a possibility that because in this situation, we got a happy resolution here because there was communication, but also because we found out that it wasn't actually what Yoroizuka originally thought.
Yeah.
But what if it was? Mm-hmm. What if it actually was that Nozomi, sorry, she wasn't that close friends with you?
Yep.
Would you be okay with that? Would you be able to move on from that? Yuko's here. She's been a great friend to you so far, but you can't actually accept her as a friend, right? Yep. And there's a very strong possibility that with this kind of behavior, let's say Yuko wasn't quite as self-confident, right? Yeah, as forthcoming.
Yeah.
She would have just been like, oh,
yeah,
I see.
And then nothing is said, and then she just kind of hugs her and is like, I'm sure things will get better. But then the next day, Yuko doesn't show up to see her in practice.
And suddenly, boom, split happens.
Right. So one of the things that I loved about this was that she doesn't just say, how can you say that? She goes in. Mm-hmm. How can you say that? So what if she does? What am I to you?
She actually pins her to the floor eventually.
Yeah. And then she gives you were nice to me because you felt sorry for me.
Bullshit.
Yeah. And also, who cares?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
One of the things that I thought Yuko might have said here was, and your point is, you think that's
I came for the pity, I stayed for the friendship. That could have been what it was.
Like, if at any point I did that at all, suddenly all the love and care means nothing.
Meaningless? Yeah.
Yeah. And I love the fact that she doesn't address even that as an argument. It's just baka. Idiot. Are you really that stupid?
Sometimes you need to have someone clap your face and say baka.
Yeah. Keep thinking that and I am going to lose it. Because what she's saying here is that hurts.
Right. And I have limits. I can't. That's not something that I'm willing to put up with. And that's not something that I can
handle that.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
This is the thing where Kumiko is in some ways very blessed to be here to see this.
Yes.
Because this is the strength of Yuko's character, is that she will aggressively love you.
She doesn't have a problem with confrontation. Nope. And that strength was misapplied in the first season, misapplied. It caused problems in the first season, right? But now we're in a situation where that's kind of what's needed, right? And who knows, maybe, just maybe, with whatever dramatic conflict is stirring up at Kumiko's home, maybe she'll be able to use this, a lesson that she learned here. She'll be able to be a bit like Yuko. Maybe she'll need to tell off her dad or her sister or mom or who knows.
Whoever. Just being more confident in general, owning the space that she's in. Were you seriously playing in the band just for Nozomi? Now, this was probably one of the best uses this episode of the flashback, where they showed multiple moments where I clearly remember a lot of this, where she was practicing. She was the one that Yuko clutched and hugged in the celebration of them winning gold. Like, that was something that I remember thinking back on in season 1 being like, who is that? Like,
right. Like, I thought she would be hugging Kaori, and I think she did at one point. But, like, Who's this other person?
Yeah, didn't you feel anything? And she's like, oh, I was happy, but I felt just as bad for those who quit and weren't a part of it. I didn't know if I should have felt happy.
Get rid of should from your vocabulary.
Yeah. This was one of the moments where I felt, again, a little bit like she hadn't fully clicked in with what was going on here. Was she saying, I felt just as bad for those who quit and weren't a part of it. Now, I understand that feeling,
Sure.
I understand why that would be brought up there.
And especially if she was really close to Nozomi, then
Yeah, absolutely. But the lack of awareness of what's going on just in the present then to then not be able to experience the emotion just going on with those right there nearby you.
Yeah.
And then wondering what kind of response you should have in those kinds of situations. I love that we show in her body language here, she's doing this, which is a defensive kind of keeping it close, more maybe not selfish, but
there is
self-focused.
Right, there's something here that is uncomfortable, and I don't want it to be agitated any more than it's already being.
Because then I'll have to show it.
Yeah.
And then she's like, well, of course you should have. Like,
right. And then she pulls her, not only does she pull her up, but she pulls
her arms away from her chest.
Away from her chest, right.
Yeah.
Not defensive mode anymore.
Yeah.
Brings her into the light. Yeah.
Yeah, so come on. Come on, feel this.
Smile.
And of course, she doesn't smile. She cries.
Yep.
Because then she feels comfortable enough to show her emotion to Yuko. And then the scene just becomes like just perfection then on out because they bring in Nozomi.
She's got the oboe. And the bit
is practically like angels singing in the background.
Right.
It's perfect.
The whole bit with Yoroizuka then turning, like, I love the fact that she's a smaller person in general, but then she's also sitting down, feeling small in this moment and things like that, right? So it makes sense that she would be just peeking over the teacher's desk.
Yeah.
But that feels like a baby kitten, right?
Yeah.
That's like just peeking out of the cardboard box, you know?
I loved the way that she honestly just comes up and goes, I'm so sorry.
And just doing this again.
She's doing that again, yep, because now her most
Looking at the
primary
floor.
source of pain is here.
Inspecting those shoes. Yeah.
And then her reasoning for it.
Yep.
I don't know if we predicted this or not.
I don't think so. Although we did predict the idea that, well, actually, no. So not quite exactly this, but we did talk about the fact that it would make sense if the reason why they split is because Yoroizuka wouldn't have any reason to leave the club because she was able to play the instrument that she wanted to play.
Right.
Whereas Nozomi wasn't able to.
Right. But then why did she stay if Nozomi quit? You know? Right. Like...
Just, I think what we talked about was just the idea that
the instrument itself was the only reason.
Right, exactly. It's I'm getting what I need out of the club, which isn't what it ended up being. No, but yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
But the idea that after she was hurt by Nozomi when she left without telling her, she continued to play so that she could feel close to her. Yeah, like that, like almost like. To feel close to the idea of Nozomi that she thought didn't exist anymore. Turns out, hey, your long suffering wasn't wholly without reason. You did get catharsis from it a bit because that person did exist, right? It wasn't just a figment of your imagination. She wasn't just putting up with you. Yeah. She really did care about you.
Yeah. And then once she's like, oh no, I didn't mean to forget you. I wasn't why. And then Mizore apologizes, saying, I avoided you. I assumed that you... Yeah. I was scared. I'm sorry.
Because that's the thing. Even though she would have left the club, she still went to the school. Yeah. So, theoretically, she could have asked Nozomi about it. Mm-hmm. Why'd you leave? Why didn't you tell me? Yeah. But, yeah, she was scared. So she didn't. And if she had, it would have been a whole lot less painful. Yeah. But,
I love the way she brings up just that, here's the instrument thing that Asuka told her to bring here. Mm-hmm. And she says, ever since middle school, I've always liked the way you play the oboe. It just makes me feel like excited inside. I get all like excited inside. I want to hear you play your oboe, Mizore. And she's just like, okay. Yep. And it's just perfect. And then she says, I want you to hear me play too.
Like that.
And then we get to hear her play. Mm-hmm. But what I feel like is so perfect here is that there is almost like a love scene kind of aspect to this, in that they both end up able to communicate exactly what they needed to in order to bring things to its full conclusion. they both bring out the emotion of what they experienced to get to this point and how this decision then makes them feel.
Right. And how it affects the other person, kind of a thing.
But yeah, then they also do these like little individual solo shots here. Once the instrument has been exchanged.
Yeah,
and then just going over to their number twos on each side, Nakagawa and Yuko, just like, we did it.
Yep.
Our effort. It worked.
This show really makes me want to learn cinematography and things like that. To know, because I feel like on the one hand,
it's different for anime than it is for film and stuff. I don't know if this would be cinematography.
A little bit different, but not that much different. Like as far as how the stuff is made, sure, but for the showing certain kinds of shots to achieve specific like goals and effects and things like that, it's pretty much the same. Because I feel like the camera work essentially for this show. Like, the animation itself is gorgeous and incredible, but the direction feels like there's so much intent behind it and like careful planning to how things are done. I really am just blown away by it, and yet I know that I'm being blown away by something that I don't understand.
Right. It's the idea that we can see that there are so many more shots in this, like shots basically, than there would be in any average anime that we'd watch. So. At the very least, there's extra intention being put into it when they do all these rapid, quick edits to give us a specific feeling. And we feel it, but then understanding why and how and the intent behind it exactly. It's this special language being like music kind of put on display for us.
Right.
And we just get to be enamored by it.
Yeah, because with the sunset, it's like, yes. We have a sunset, something that's generally visually very striking and can, induce various different emotions and things like that. And then that's, paired with Mizure playing, and now she's able to play with full of emotion and things like that. It's like, okay, yeah, cool. That's a very simple sort of parallel, connection to make there. But, yeah.
Yeah, it's very special.
I just know there's so much more.
And then Yuko and Nakagawa's banter just to kind of cap things off for them. And then it's like, okay, we get it. Yeah, we get it. Yeah, they're cute. They're adorable. They'll go running off together.
If the show wanted to have them actually just start dating, I would believe it. Like, I would not doubt it for a second.
I think it's more of like a 5 years off kind of thing, where this is their original frustrations with each other.
Exactly. This will be fun stories they tell to like friends and family and things like that of how we met. You would never believe it,
We used to hate each other.
We were at each other's throats. It was ridiculous. Yeah.
And I love that Kumiko is such a fly on the wall throughout this whole thing. Like, she's not really doing much of anything because
just observing.
Yeah, she is kind of the awkward protagonist that doesn't really have anything that she needs or knows what to say in these kinds of situations. So her listening should be pretty helpful for, like you were saying, future conflicts with her.
Like, also, this confrontation of sorts with Asuka.
Yes.
Because Asuka,
Asuka made the wrong choice.
Yeah, like
keeping them apart was not helpful.
Nope.
Yep.
And Asuka makes her whole comment of how, it was pretty cold and calculating, though, to use Yuko as insurance like that. Just in case she actually would be alone,
Yeah.
And then Kumiko being like, I think you're completely too what was it?
Too cynical.
Cynical, yeah.
You see things too
cynically, Asuka senpai. And she says that confidently, right?
Well, I mean, no, like Kumiko is rarely confident in anything.
Kumiko levels of confidence,
yeah, but yeah, you can see she's doing that. Like
she says it,
stammers it out.
Right. She stammers it out, but she says it while keeping eye contact and not like apologizing for it or backtracking afterwards, and she has a smile once she's done. So I consider that like Kumiko confidence there.
Right. The Kumiko confidence is being willing to share her immediate thoughts about something out loud and not backtrack on it afterwards.
Exactly. She doesn't have Asuka or Reina confidence. That's a different beast.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also in the way that her body language is shown, but then. Reina shows up, providing Asuka a nice opportunity to
you're late. Let's go.
escape, basically.
Sure.
But Asuka doesn't end this there.
Final remark.
She says, hey, let's make it to nationals. Calling back, for us, the audience, this isn't something that they would necessarily be aware of, but this feels very similar to what happened with Yoroizuka and Nozomi.
Yep.
In that the two of them had a little moment where Nozomi goes, hey, let's go for the gold. Let's make it to, I don't know if she said nationals necessarily, but it felt like it was something similar to that.
Or we'll get gold
We'll get gold next year, I think.
Something like that.
I think
right?
I think it was let's get gold next year.
Yeah.
But this is the kind of thing where Kumiko's like, oh, what does she mean by this?
Yeah.
Is she serious with this, or is this something that she's kind of faking it? Because she's the one that's the cynical, potentially a bit manipulative kind of person here, trying to make things be the best year possible. But what is she seeing when she says something like that?
Right.
Yeah.
So something that I want to bring up that I think is just a fun little, additional parallel with the whole let's make it to nationals. Why is Asuka saying this to Kumiko?
Because Kumiko's there, probably.
Kumiko's there. She's the main character. As such, she does end up playing a part in a lot of these conflicts that happen. She knows about it, and so it just
they're
sort
in
of
the base group together.
It sort of fits naturally. But yes, they're in the base group together, and more specifically, Kumiko is the one other youth player that plays in the competition.
That's true. Yeah.
Now, with Mizore was feeling alone. We later got that scene with Asuka where she's playing the youth alone.
Yep.
Now, I don't
think what you're going for is a stretch here.
I'm no Albert Einstein, right?
Right.
But I don't think it's a stretch to say that there is a possibility that Asuka feels some special sort of kindred spirit with Kumiko, not just because she's her kohai and all that stuff, and yes, welcome to the wind ensemble and everything. Just trust in my fearless leadership, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, you've also played the youth for a while. All right, we play it together at the competitions and everything.
Yeah.
Will this work out?
I think what it is Asuka very much feels like there could be an opportunity for a deeper friendship here, but she doesn't know enough of Kumiko. In a weird way, Kumiko is also one of the most closed-off people in this show.
Absolutely.
That's one of her character arcs that she's been going on, that she's more comfortable opening up to a lot of the people around her.
And she closes herself off by being invisible. It's not by being starkly a kudere that doesn't say anything and shows up super early, for practice.
Yeah.
No, it's that she is stealth 100,
social
as much as
stealth. Yeah, she doesn't
social
give her opinion
stealth.
that often. She
She very much keeps things close to the chest. She might not be able to actually sneak around worth a damn, but as far as staying low on everyone's radar, she's pretty good at that.
And I think that's the kind of thing that's pissed off Asuka quite a bit. Over the course of time.
Yeah, because Asuka doesn't do that.
Well, right, but there's a possibility that Asuka sees a bit of herself from last year in Kumiko.
Oh, right, because she
Kumiko,
didn't do anything.
Exactly. Asuka was the one that didn't.
The Prez had to do it, even though Asuka might have been better at it.
Yeah, Asuka played it safe last year.
Right.
And now she's being a bit too hands-on, a bit too demonstrative. Maybe.
Sure.
And this is an example of where she might have messed up by being too hands-on.
And she was lucky in that it ended up getting brought up. But can you imagine the whole idea of if the situation between Mizore and Nozomi had continued through high school, right?
Yeah.
That's one thing. For the two of them, sure, there's all kinds of emotions surrounding that because they're the two that it involves, right? But for Asuka, the one who would have kind of enforced it to go that way.
Yeah.
And knowing that it almost did.
Yep.
That's
oh man.
That just might rattle her a bit.
Yeah.
So.
But okay. This is a good ending. This is a very good ending to this little drama kind of centric arc here. However, things with Asuka are not necessarily resolved fully. Reina gets brought at the end of the episode to have a little bit of banter, but also reveals to Kumiko that she would want to say that she plays for herself.
Yep.
Now,
because of course she does.
We don't know if that's 100% the case.
Right. I was wondering if she was going to say for Taki, but
I would say,
of course not.
I would say no. I would say that she definitely plays for herself primarily.
Right. There are other people alongside that sort
Yes.
of a little bit, you know.
But an overwhelming majority of it is playing for herself.
Yeah.
That's why she wants to be special. That's why she wants to be great. in this.
Exactly.
It is something that is for herself. And then Kumiko can lean on that strength in a lot of ways. And yeah, it's really, really, really special.
Because when it comes right down to it, both of them just have terrible personalities.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
Not actually saying that, you know, it's the callback to season 1 and all that. Yeah.
But y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access. You can chat with us and the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yes, if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.